Hello everyone, this is Faisal Tahir, and in this tutorial I'm going to be discussing the MIA portal light. Um, in my line of work I would have to do a lot of interiors, and this requires me, when I'm using global illumination of course, to have a lot of light bouncing in to the scene rather just lighting things outside, which we have seen in the earlier tutorials on physical sun and sky. So those are really good at doing exteriors. So if you are using a physical sun and sky setup or a HDRI setup, those things really help if you're trying to do some exterior lighting. When it comes into interiors, you would want some of that light to come in into the scene and bounce around. So one of these ways of doing that is using global illumination. So let us just see what I have here right now. So I have a directional light that's kind of placed towards the window here. So if I just take a render of this, and I have final gather turned on here, and this is the result that I get. So not quite what I normally expect this to be. So I want the renders to go a little faster. So what I'm going to do is come in here to the globals, and let's get into the quality switch and take it down to 0 here, so that my renders go a little faster. This setup that I have here is really simple right now. So I just have a directional light coming in, and on the directional light, if I go into its attributes, I've got the default intensity, and if I get into the shadows, I have these ray shadows turned on without any light angle and shadow rays of course. So if I go back into my camera view here and look at the setup, when I get into, if I just go into the globals here, uh, indirect lighting, and you see that I have my final gathering on. Something I can do here to get some of that light to bounce into the scene is increase the number of diffuse bounces here. So if I take this up to 1, or let's take it up to 2 and render this. Now for a scene like this, again, it's not going to take too long, but the results that I'm going to get out of something like this are not going to be very realistic. So again, I have some bounce lighting and that's it. There's nothing on the wall, and there is this big window here, so I should get a lot of light through that into the scene, but all I get is this light and that's it, and it's over. So one thing you can do here is, and if I go into the outliner here, what I've already done here is I've created an area light, and if I unhide this is actually hidden. So if I shift H to unhide this, and I've placed it right in front of the window. Now if I go into my perspective view, you see that I've placed it somewhat inside the window and not outside it. Excuse me. If I go into the camera view again and take a render of this, now on this particular area light, I don't have any shadows on. I just have this Maya area light here, and that's it. Nothing special about this light. So if I just take a render of this, what I end up getting is all of that direct light from the Maya area light is what is all of this light in, which is not very realistic. No, this is not a very desirable effect. And on top of this, what I also have is the diffuse bounces from my indirect illumination here. So I'm just going to zero those out. So even then, now I'm getting a lot of nice shadowing here in the corners, but a lot of this is looking really flat and very unrealistic. So let's take another render of this, and there you go. This is a typical Maya area light render. So again, no shadows in here. So one of the ways to fix that is you can use Mia portal light. Okay, Now what the portal light is good at is what it's going to do is it's going to bring in all of that environment that you have outside. So all the color and intensity of that environment, the portal light is going to try and bring it into the room. So it's a very crude way of saying it, but that's what it does. So if I go down into my area light parameters, what I would need to do is under mental ray, so under area lights, if I come under mental ray, and you see mental ray has its own area light which uses this area light as its area light. I highly recommend using a Maya area light, and check this, use light shape and not a spotlight, because from anybody who's using version 8 and beyond should always use an area light and not a spotlight. Okay, this is also available in a spotlight, but I'd rather stay away from that and use this light. So enough of that. So I'm just gonna check this use light shape, and now this is extremely important that you do this. If you don't do this, the portal light is not gonna work. So you check this, you come down here into your custom shaders, light shader, click on that, which opens up the create render node window, and in under mental ray, come all the way down into mental ray lights and stick in a Mia portal light here, and that's it. You have an area light in the scene now. So if I was to go take a render of this, and now I'm really disappointed, and I see like I've created an area light, a Mia portal light. Now I still don't see any illumination here. So what am I missing now? What else am I supposed to do? All you need to do here is you have to come in into the intensity parameter and punch in an intensity. Let's start with somewhere around 6 and take a render, and now I see some of that light coming in, so that's nice. So I see some light in here, so let's take this up to 15, and I see some more light coming in there. Okay, now this is pretty decent. This is something what I'm after. So I'm getting a lot of that blue light into the room now, so I have some more of that. Now I can combine this with my indirect illumination diffuse bounces. So let's take this up to 2 here, and let's increase the quality here. So I'm gonna go take this up to 2 now, and let's keep this, and let's take another render here. This is gonna take a few extra seconds, but and you already see that there is a lot more light bounce in the scene right now, and something like this is a more desirable effect that I was looking for. So I've got some more of that light coming in, and some really nice soft shadows, I can say. Although if you see there is a little speckle, and I can fix that later because I have that mental ray area light checked, and these shadows are coming from that particular light. Now what I need to do here is, now I'm gonna excuse me, uh, close this out, and let's talk about a few of these parameters here. The intensity again is just the brightness, the multiplier of the light, so intensity multiplier, that's what it says. The color multiplier, now this is a nice parameter. I'm going to go back and take this down for a second so that we can do some comparisons here. So color multiplier, if I was to use some color in here and take a render of this scene now with that particular color in the color multiplier, what it's going to do is it's going to add some of that color into my scene, and most of my scene will have that color in it. So one of the ways to add a particular color into your scene if that's what you're going for. So normally that's something that I don't do. So I'm going to go back into the Mia portal light here and set this color back to white. The transparency is the transparency of the light. So you actually have a physical light here. So if I was to go and you know decrease this transparency, and for this to work, what I would actually need is in the area light, again the shape node, I have this use light shape which is actually using the the mental ray area light. I would need to have this to be set as visible in order to see that light. So let me just take a render here. I'm going to keep this and take a render here, and I can see that that light is actually showing, and I can see that light now. I can have it either set as visible or not visible. So if I was to take another render of this, I see that that light is not there. So I need this to be set as visible. Then in my Mia portal light, I can set the transparency of that light. So if I keep it all white and render this, I can see that I don't see the light at all. So I can turn the transparency down and I see the light. Okay, so pretty simple. I would turn this up all the way to white, and reverse is going to reverse the direction of the area light. So right now it's lighting into the room, or if I set this to reverse, it's going to light out to the room. So I'm just going to turn that off for now. The shadow that you're getting from this sky portal, the cutoff threshold is an interesting parameter. What it actually does is uh, you have a decay in your sky portal, although there is no parameter here that says decay. And if you look at the area light in Maya, and you will see that the decay rate is set to no decay. And if you have been using Maya area lights, and by now you might have figured out that Maya area lights do have decay built into them, even though this decay rate is set to no decay. What if I go back into the portal light, the cutoff threshold does is when the light comes to a certain point where it's decaying, the shadows are also going to die out. The shadows are also going to decay as the light the intensity of the light decreases. So this is more of an optimization parameter, and I recommend leaving this to 0.005, and there is no necessity to change this threshold. This is most of an optimization parameter. Oh, that's what I can say. Shadow ray extension is pretty interesting. If I was to close this, and let's go into the top view here, and this is my light, and if I have the shadow ray extension set to, I can switch to my Mia portal. uh, let's set this up to 1. If I had this set up to 1, what it's going to do is it's going to bring in the shadows. If I had some objects here, it's going to cast the shadows of the objects into my scene, and the bigger this number, so if I go from 1 to like 3 or 4, the farther it's going to go away and bring the shadows into the room. And the negative this value is, so if I keep like a -1, what it's going to do is it's actually going to cast the shadows after that 1 unit that you have. And again, this is based on Maya's units, so it's going to skip a unit and cast the shadows from there. So if there was anything here, it won't actually cast the shadow of that, but it would cast the shadow of something that was beyond that. So again, this is something that can have a practical use, but I don't really use this that much, but it's there for you if you want to. Photon attributes, what these pertain to is the global illumination solution in mental ray. So you can actually have the colors of the photons according to what you have set here in your environment. So if your environment's color was you know blue, the photons would have the same color that you had in your environment. You could also use a custom environment. So what I have done here is, if I go into my camera attributes editor, I can see that I have a certain color set in the background color. So what the portal light does is, it's going to bring in all of that color into the room and its intensity into the room. So if I can actually set up, if I go back into the portal light, and please excuse me for doing this again and again and again. What the custom environment does is, you can stick in a different image and it will sample the colors of that image and bring it into this room, and you can see the colors of that image bouncing around in the solution. Uh, you can have that environment visible or invisible, and whether it's going to use the FG rays, and of course it has to look up the FG rays in order to do the calculation for the custom environment. And these are all the parameters in the Sky portal, and this Sky portal is really a lifesaver. It has been very useful since its inception. uh, it was added in Maya, if I'm not wrong, on version 8. So it has been really good, and I've been using it since then. And now that you know what it does, I hope you guys also use it. uh, that's all for now. So there you go, that was the Sky portal. So I'm just going to let this render and you can see the final image. Okay, alrighty then, I'm gonna stop now. Thank you guys.